this is the Geek Protagonist, and this is just to kind of talk about a quick thing before I unleash a heads up. So, with the Monster Hunter movie, there was a controversy over a joke that was made in the movie that ended up at first getting China to upset to the point where they started to review bomb Monster Hunter World. Um, and it was kind of crazy because this country, they were like, it's a very racist thing, because basically the guy says along the lines of, look at my knees, what are these or whatever, and he goes, they're Chinese. Now, the way China ended up taking this, they took it as the old thing where it was like Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees joke or song or whatever it was. And I thought that was a little bit hypocritical coming from a place that's so hypersensitive about racial issues that they have a commercial where they take a black person or black man and stick him in a washing machine so he can come out a different race that clean him. And the black guy's like, yeah, all right. So, yeah. And here's what makes that even dumber. So, while this is supposed to coincide, the Monster Hunter thing is supposed to be like kind of a synergy thing, like how Sony did with Spider-Man and Venom and that, where they did that trailer recently of the Monster Hunter's Rise thing that has a more Japanese kind of feel. And apparently, this movie's setup is basically with the main character is supposed to be like traveling through, going in. I'm actually going to be watching the movie later today and reviewing. So then I'll, probably drop these like back to back or something, like a day or so from now. But you're supposed to see the world through Mila Jovovich's character's eyes. The movie looks alright. It looks meh. Like the monsters look great. Throughout when you see the trailers and stuff. So the monsters look good. There's not enough in the movie where I see where it's like, oh my goodness, this is going to blow my mind, but it looks fine as long as I get that Monster Hunter feel when everything is said and done. That's what I really care about. I've played Monster Hunter World. I've played a couple other Monster Hunters. So if I get that feeling like, okay, this reminds me of Monster Hunter, then they've established and done their job. I do feel that when people ask some of these questions about, oh, how can this character do this? And why did they do that? I'm like, why don't you wait for the movie to tell you? You're not supposed to know why that character can do that. If you see a movie commercial and Batman is flying without any help, he just jumps off a roof and starts flying, you're going to go, well, why is that? Well, the movie's going to tell you why. Like, that let me berate it, so I'm gonna now trash it by saying, well, why did this happen? Like, that's corny. That's weak. That's weak. No, what should be happening is you should be like, all right, is the movie going to come together? Is this doing it? Maybe the trailer doesn't get to you. That's fine. But asking questions like when you see her charge up is like, well, that's probably because they're going to explain that in the movie. So I don't like that a lot of people are doing that, and a lot of people are complaining about, oh, there's only so many monsters, like 5 monsters. I'm like, yeah, play the game. You're not facing, unless you got a really veteran player with you, you're not facing or seeing much more than 6, 7 monsters yourself, for at least for a little while. At least till you get your groove in the game. I enjoyed the Resident Evil movies, so we'll see how these go. Some were better than others. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, it's not going to really a long video or whatever. I did have the thing here from the Chinese controversy. So excuse me as I read this to you. It says, just after the release of the movie on December 2nd, 2020, the film caused an uproar on Chinese social media because of a scene which Jin's character jokingly asked, look at my knees. And to the question, what kind of knees are these? He replies, Chinese. Now, though the language made by the film's through the language made by the film's subtitles, Chinese viewers interpreted this as a reference to the racist playground chant Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees, and therefore as an insult to Chinese people. Don't forget, these are the same people who made a commercial with a black man going into a washing machine to get cleaned to become a completely different race. So they washed the black skin off of him and the culture off of him to make him the right race. So I just want you to remember that. I'm not saying two wrongs don't make a right, but enough right to make a circle. Now, the film was removed from circulation, and Chinese authorities censored references to it online. Yeah, China has this really big thing that if they don't like the littlest thing, their government will like censor. Like I think My Hero Academia just got censored there because of like a reference to something that wasn't even a purposeful reference. I know a couple other animes and mangas got censored there just because they didn't like certain rhetoric. So I want you sometimes to remember that your freedoms, like that's crazy. And especially because they do explain, they didn't even ask questions. Um, Tencent had reportedly prepared modified versions of the films, omitting the line, but even these showings were pulled. The reaction to the film also caused Chinese users to review bomb Monster Hunter World in reference to the insulting lines. Constantine Film apologized for the dialogue and stated they will remove the racially insensitive dialogue from the film before it is released. Jin said that for his character, this is the guy who was Chinese that said the line, the line was to proudly proclaim he is a Chinese soldier. Not just his knees, but his arms, his head, his heart. Anderson stated that it was never our intention to send a message of discrimination or disrespect to anyone. To the contrary, at its heart, our movie is about unity, and that the line had been removed from all international versions of the film prior to their releases. So they reacted so hardcore, which, by the way, I did hear that in the film, that's not the only body part reference, and it's not just with him. So apparently, when I did a little bit of research, I should say, not hear it, I read it. They were saying that there's actually a couple times where people reference, maybe one or two times where people reference like their arms or their head, or like things like they kind of reference body parts. I don't know why, but they apparently there's things where they talk about like, hey, I got my arm, owns my arm, or something like that, and their head. So from what I read, they said this wasn't the only body part reference. Okay. But I do find it a little crazy that they started review bombing the video game that outside of Capcom saying, yeah, you could, they licensed out their characters. They didn't, like, they weren't involved in making the movie. They're like, we're writing the designs and we're making the movie. Like, that was the film goer, so why didn't you just review bomb them? But that's how people are sometimes. They go, let's attack everything instead of directly going after the source or the things that are there because they see connection. That's why a lot of times actors get harassed about situations when it's like you got casted for this role and it's not even them. It's like, well, why don't you get mad at the casting director or the studio that hired them or something? Why are you getting mad at the actor? They're just taking a job. They're trying to get a paycheck. They got to live. They got to eat. But that's not how people always see it. So I don't know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm going to probably do these incongruent. I was going to release it, but lots been going on. So dealing with it. So, I'll release one and then I'll release the other. So this is kind of like a companion piece, But yeah. So Monster Hunter got pulled from China because of a misinterpretation of a line that was used that was thought to be a racist joke, but it was actually in turn a scene where the person was trying to say he was trying to make a dad joke pretty much. But hey, if China's offended by it, I understand. Just be understand that I take offense to your commercial. They've had a couple others, but that one commercial really stands out where the black dude goes in, he says, "Oh, and then they wash all the black off of him, and he becomes a completely different race. I just want you to remember that in China, and take this feeling right now, and think about that the next time you pull some garbage like that. Key protagonists, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Like I said, I'll drop these maybe the day before the movie came out, but I've already seen the movie by this point. Or at least by the time the next video comes out. I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing it today. All right, see you. Hey, thank you for visiting my channel. This is the Geek Protagonist. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please, it'll really help me out in the channel if you actually share these videos. If you like what I'm doing, please hit that bell notification. Hit it, click. This way you won't miss any of my videos. Also, there's a thing on there that says personal and all. Hit the all. This way you'll get them every time for the notifications. I'm trying to, grow, trying to do commentary about what's going on. And I want to thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay real. This is the Geek Protagonist. I'm out, and I'll see you.